Hi and welcome to this tutorial. My name is Trevor and today we're going to take a look at a console application that uses an array to keep track of the values that a user enters. Today I'm working with C# and Microsoft Visual C# Express. It's a free download. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. And as you've probably already noticed, I am working on a Mac. You can see down here. I'm in a Mac, but no worries there. I am still running this through Windows, just using Parallels. And you won't actually see any sort of difference in the program at all, so no worries. But let's go ahead and get started with the assignment. This is what we're doing today. We're doing number 1 here. And just to give it a quick read through, it says write a program that reads data into an array type integer. Valid values are from 0 to 10. Your program should determine how many values were inputted, and it's going to output a list of distinct entries and a count of how many times that entry occurred. And so here's the program that we're going to ultimately end up writing here. I'm going to go ahead and post this, a link to this, right in the description there for those of you who are on YouTube, and then also it'll be on the website there, so you guys can all go download it if you're watching this online to check it out with all everything that you see here. So you'll be able to check that out, follow along as we're actually going through and programming this. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that program actually does here, though. So you're going to open up the console, run the program, and it starts out by just coming up with a set of write lines here, and gives us some instructions. We're going to enter a value between 0 and 10, and when we're all done, we're going to enter a value that's equal to -99. So just go ahead and enter a couple of values here. As you can see, it's just going to keep on looping as long as I don't enter -99. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to hit enter -99, and it gives me my output here. You can see this is part of the assignment here. Enter the number of entered values. We entered 10 different values, and these are the distinct values that we entered and how many times they were entered. And so the way that we're doing this, easiest way to understand it is kind of like a tally system. We're going to use an array here with 11 different indexes, so 0 to 10, it's 11 indexes, and each time that we enter a value, we're going to increment that index by 1. And so basically, at each time that we enter a value, it's going to add another number to the index there. To start out though, let's go ahead and create a new project. Make sure that you select console application here for your template. And I'm going to go ahead and name this Array Video Tutorial. The name there's not super important. Just make sure that you know what it is. It's going to be unique to each person there, so you can name it whatever you'd like. And comes up here after we create that new program. Comes up with just our basic template, and it has a bunch of different stuff here that we're not using. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. All that we're going to be using for this program is just system, so that's the only one you need to leave there. Also, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as well. We don't need that in the main statement, but we can go ahead and get started on actually writing our program now. And to start out, we're going to create our array, and we're going to call it counter. It's just any name that you want to make it, that's fine. It's just that's what I decided to make mine. And we're going to create this as a new object. There's an integer, and it's going to have 11 indexes. Once again, like I said earlier, each one of those indexes is going to represent one of the valid numbers. So our index of 0 is going to represent when is what we're going to use when the user enters 0. So the index of 1 is what we're going to use when the user enters 1, so on and so forth. Pretty self-explanatory there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a string. The string we're going to call it inValue, and we're going to start out by just setting that equal to nothing. This setting this equal to nothing, it's really important in this program here. Basically what this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to use this inValue in our loop as a determining factor of when our loop is going to continue or stop running. And so we're going to say while in value does not equal negative 99. And got to make sure to put that in quotes there. That is a string, and we don't need that there. So that is a string. Got to make sure that you have that negative 99 in the quotes there. It won't work. And so what's going to happen is everything in this while statement is just going to continuously loop, just going to keep on running until the person enters negative 99. And just for time's sake, I'm going to grab this first bit of code here, just this console.write line, these two lines here. I'm going to copy and paste this into my while statement here. These are just two write lines, not very complicated, just a big long string of text there. These are just going to be our instructions for our user. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our in value that we created earlier, and we're going to set that equal to a console.readLine. And so now what's happening is the program is taking whatever the user entered. So the computer's going to read what they entered with this read line. It's going to set that equal to our in value here. From there, next thing we're going to do is we can't really do a whole lot with that in value there. So we're actually going to turn that into an integer. So we're going to create a new integer value. We're going to call this in value integer. And this one, we're going to parse this over, take our original in value, use a parse statement. So we have int.parse. Got our in value selected right there. And we're going to parse that string, that's the in value, into our integer, which is in value integer. This allows us to do a whole lot more with this this value here. What it's going to allow us to do is write this statement here. We're using an if statement on this one, and basically this if statement is just going to be a little check here, and we're going to say that if the in value integer is less than or equal to 0, and the in value integer is greater than or equal to 10, we're going to run this bit of code. And that is counter in value integer increment. So this little bit of code here, this is really the core of the program here. This is our tally system here. So what's happening is the user's going to enter something. It's going to get read by the read line, set it equal to the in value. After that, it's going to take that in value, parse it over into an integer. So we have this integer to work with. And the program's going to determine whether it's a valid value. So our valid values are between 0 and 10. So as long as the value is between 0 and 10, it's going to take that value that the user entered, and it's going to increment the index of that number. When we created this array here, all of our indexes are set equal to 0. So they're starting out at 0. And so say that the user enters a 1. What's going to happen is it's going to read the 1 in there, set it equal to our in value, parse that over to our in value integer. So we now have an integer that's set equal to 1. It's going to ask itself, is it between 0 and 10? 1 is. So it's going to take the 1 and it's going to increment our counter index of 1 by 1. So it's going to take the value in index 1, and it's going to move that from 0 to 1. And that's how we're going to record all of our different entries there.